Guys, if you've been following this channel for any length of time, you know that we have been trying to set the Trailblazer SS cam-only record. And frankly, guys, we failed. So today's video, I'm actually going to go over what we're going to do different. And I think this new setup is going to be what it's going to take to beat that 1156 record. So kind of going back a little bit here as far as the timeline, you know, over the winter, we decided to go ahead and change the cam in this thing to go for that cam-only record. And we went down to Bradenton, Florida, completely untested, got the truck together, like I think just a couple days before. We went down there and we ran some 1180s, I believe. We knew first pass the converter was way wrong, went over the data, and of course we had that nitrous converter in it, so that wasn't going to work. So we came back from Florida, and we had Circle D build us a brand new torque converter spec for the naturally aspirated setup. So then we fast forward to June, and we go to Streetcar Takeover Charlotte. We put Mandy in it, and she goes in 1174 with that new converter at 2,500 feet of DA, I believe it was, down there.
Go ahead, girl.
And actually, come to think about it, that's actually the last time we've even ran this thing. We've had a lot of rainouts and whatnot since then. So here it is, middle of October. I got thinking, it's like, wow, we really need to get back on the ball. We've been so busy, you know, working on the Cadillac and tearing it up that this thing kind of got neglected a little bit. So we went over the data, and we did need to make a couple changes. Of course, we got a 4L80E transmission in this thing, which I guess is the only vehicle we have around here that the transmission will even stay in. So we sacrificed a little bit of optimal gearing when we put the 4L80E transmission in it. So what we've done is we've got a 456 gear on order. So these things from the factory, they come with a 410 gear. So in the next week or so, you guys are actually going to be seeing us putting a brand new gear in this thing. Of course, we'll be pulling the 410 out and putting that 456 in it. So that's going to obviously help us in 60 foot, as well as help us with some of that first gear that we're missing in the transmission, and also is going to put us in a better power band for where we need to be at top end. When you don't have a whole lot of horsepower, gearing is super critical, and frankly, I think this whole time I've been kind of underestimating that. I think we've really been leaving a lot of ET on the table, and I don't want to say a lot, but every little bit counts, frankly, at this point. So that's going to be first and foremost, we're doing that. Secondly, guys, this thing's just plain heavy, and there's nothing I can do about that other than pull some weight out of it. A lot of the guys who've set a lot of records, they've been lighter than us, so we're going to have to get on the same page as that. You guys know we've been, you know, pulling the seats out. We got like the racing wheels and tires that we put on it. But let me show you some of the things that we are going to be doing to pull some weight out of this thing to try and give this thing a fighting chance. Because remember, we can only make so much horsepower with the cam-only setup. Losing a little bit of weight here, probably going to work in our favor. Now, this thing is heavy on the nose, and I've got to watch how much weight I pull off of the back, because if we just strictly pull weight out of the back of the truck, it's actually going to make our problems even worse. So we got to start pulling some weight, you know, middle of the truck and forward. So what we've got here, this is actually the curtain airbags that are in these trucks. Keep in mind, guys, this truck's, at this point, it's mainly just kind of a race truck. Of course, we do the drag and drive stuff with it, but, you know, this got to go. So these things are actually pretty heavy, not so much the airbags themselves, but like the canister charge things. So if you pull that out of each side, also this is the rear blower motor for like the HVAC stuff that operates like the rear AC stuff. And then this is like a real big heavy dash brace, super thick piece of metal that's like up underneath the dash. And you're probably like, well, how'd you get to that? Well, we pulled the dash out. So I know this is going to look a little scary, guys, but again, in the effort to pull some weight out of the center forward of the truck, what we're doing here is we've actually pulled out, this is the passenger airbag that goes in the dash. And do not be alarmed, because we are going to be taking this cover and putting it back in the dash, so this dash does look factory. But this passenger airbag right here, I'm guessing it's probably close to 20 pounds. So we're going to pull that cover off. We'll glue that into the dash so the dash has a nice clean look to it. So once it's installed, obviously you'd never even be able to tell that this was taken out. So again, another 20 pounds right there that we're going to be getting out of the truck. And of course, when you pull the dash cover off, let me show you the scary mess that we are left with inside the truck. So this is what we have here. Pretty intimidating, huh? So I'm in here and I'm looking, and guys, I mean, I really don't know what direction I want to go, because I look at all this HVAC stuff and I'm like, man, that is probably a pretty good amount of weight. I mean, I don't think it's 100 pounds, because frankly, a lot of it's like plastic and whatnot. But I don't know. I mean, you guys tell me. I mean, it's not a daily driver. And frankly, I don't ever use the heat or air condition for anything. The heat's not even hooked up when I put the electric water pump on it. So, I mean, what do you think? I mean, should we get rid of it while I'm in here, while the dash cover's off? I mean, it probably would be a good idea. And I do know that, of course, you know, a lot of people do pull this stuff out when they race them. So I'm torn. I'm not real sure. Kind of maybe lean on you guys to tell me what to do. I mean, I like going fast. I know you guys like to see us go fast, so I don't know. Maybe we pull this out. And then also a couple other things that we have done is, this is kind of maybe towards the back, but I mean, frankly, it doesn't weigh that much. But we did pull the seat belts out of the rear. So a little bit of rear weight, but I mean, no more than these things weigh. I think we'll be okay. But guys, at this point, kind of every little thing adds up. And of course, the center console will go back in. We just have to take the console out to get the dash shell out. So that's why we got that sitting here for right now. And then let's jump underneath the hood here real quick. Let's talk about some stuff under the hood. So y'all see, I mean, it's pretty bare bones underneath here. We pretty much, what we've got underneath this hood is pretty much all we need to run it. You know, a lot of people, they cut out the inner fenders and stuff like that. And obviously, I'm sure there's probably some pretty good weight to be had. And same thing, it's kind of like the inside. I really don't know if I want to kind of get into all of that. You know, in my mind, I'm like, oh, if I ever, you know, kind of put it back more towards daily driver duty, it'd be nice to have the inner fenders, but not real sure. I don't know if we probably need to do that stuff to get that last like 10th and a half that we're looking for. I mean, frankly, with just some better weather this time of year, I think we're going to be really close anyway. So I may kind of leave everything underneath the hood kind of how it is, and maybe just see where we're at. You know, back when we were running nitrous in this thing like 2 years ago, you know, I mean, I can pull that braided line off right there and pull the purge solenoid. I mean, everything's kind of capped off anyway, so it's just along for the ride. So I might just pull that line off and that purge solenoid off there. Other than that, guys, I mean, she's pretty basic. So guys, I'm shooting for the next 2 weeks here to have this thing pretty much wrapped up. Virginia Motorsports Park as well as Maryland International Raceway. Both of those tracks in November have some test and tune dates. Usually, historically, the DA is really good. So, I mean, even if we can just get under 1,000 foot, I'd be tickled to death. But if we can catch one of those good weather days, you know, between the gearing, maybe lose a little bit of weight. You know, we've been in 1174, records in 1156. Frankly, I would love to actually push that record into the 1140s. So, that's kind of where we're looking at right now. One, to kind of keep you guys up to date, let you know we have not forgot about this thing. I can promise you here very, very shortly, you are going to be seeing this thing back at the racetrack. Maybe about 3 weeks or so, we'll be making that happen. But guys, in the meantime, as always, we appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.